stalking is such a terroristic crime
Mm-hmm.
that it makes me sad that these people had to turn to Reddit because resources are so scant when it comes to crimes like this.
And no one stalk us.
Yeah, please don't.
I think that's a good rule of thumb here.
Totally.
At Crimes of Reddit.
Yes.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Crimes of Reddit. I'm Sabrina Deana-Roga. I promised some exciting news and updates about Crimes of, which is introducing Crimes of Reddit, and our new co-host, Alexis Linkletter.
Hi. I'm so excited to be here.
I'm so excited to have you here and have you be my new co-host. I've only known you for a short while, but I already know that you're going to be one of my greatest friends.
I know. I'm obsessed with you. I know.
It might be a problem how obsessed we are with each other in such a short amount of time.
Serendipitous, which means this is going to be an amazing show.
It is. And Alexis is such an incredible woman and human, but you also have such an amazing resume behind you in the last 10 years. You've hosted The First Degree. You are an incredible investigative journalist. You've worked on true crime cases like the Long Island serial killer, which, I mean, I have so many questions about.
It was insane. Insane.
And I'm sure you'll share some stories along the way as we get into Crimes of Reddit. Do you want to know what we're diving into? You want to know what stories?
I honestly can't wait, and I'm so excited.
Okay, the theme for this week is stalker stories.
Ooh.
Let's get into it.
Okay.
This is called Am I the Asshole for Having My Ex Arrested at My Wedding? This happened 2 days ago at my 28 male and my wife's 39 female wedding. A lot of people are telling me I'm in the wrong for having my ex, who is a 27-year-old female, arrested, and my wife is saying I ruined the wedding and caused a scene. First, a little backstory on my ex. We were together over 5 years ago for a matter of weeks. So not really a full ex.
Barely a relationship.
Gone on a couple dates situation. I broke things off because I wasn't that into her. She began to pester me over text and social media all the time to get back together or just hook up. This went on for months, and in a particularly weak moment, I gave in and I slept with her again. At this point, things got a lot worse. I tried to explain that it was a mistake and I still didn't want anything to do with her. From then on, the messages ranged from abusive to begging me for sex, and eventually I just blocked her. She then started showing up at my house, my work, and social spaces that I went to. She attempted to force herself on me and threatened violence, and at that point, I got a restraining order. Since then, I haven't heard from her in years. Could be the end of the story, right?
Should be.
I met my wife 3 years ago, and she's honestly the best thing in my life. We fell in love hard and have a great relationship. We got engaged after 2 years, and 2 days ago, finally had our wedding. The day was going amazingly well until a friend of mine, who I will call Chris, turned up with his +1. His +1? My ex.
Okay.
Yep. I spoke to him and he had absolutely no idea about my history with her, and we tried to get her to leave. She refused, so I decided just to ring the police. 2 officers showed up to arrest her for breaking her restraining order, and she flipped out. She was shouting and screaming, hurled abusive language at my wife, and claimed that she and I were meant to be together, which obviously distracted from our wedding. Now, my wife is upset with me for causing a scene, and a lot of our friends are saying that I should have just ignored it and focused on the day because she wasn't causing problems until the police showed up. So, am I the asshole?
Ooh, I really see both sides here.
Okay. There's a lot left unsaid in this, and we do get an update in a little bit that answers a lot of questions. But yeah, what is your verdict?
I see both sides here. I can see how if it was extremely distracting for the groom, whose ex this was, it's his wedding too.
Right.
You know, he doesn't want to be distracted. That being said, what did everyone know? Did the date know that she was going to the wedding of the person she was obsessed with? Did Chris says he has no idea, the friend who brought her.
Yeah. That's what we get the update on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because that matters.
It does matter.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like I have the context, so I would say not an asshole. But also, if roles were reversed, if it was a woman and her stalker that you have a restraining order against showed up, I feel like there'd be no question.
Yeah, that's
right?
true.
I also understand out of context, it's a little murky.
I'm ready for the context. Bring it on.
Okay. Well, let's read some comments because people had thoughts based on the first, Reddit comments. Horrible, but also amazing.
Yes.
Okay. So the first one was very much like in agreement with the original poster. You had a restraining order for a reason. I believe she was very well aware of it and knew what consequences could have been. She knew better than to be attending. Who knows what plans she had in mind before she was taken away. Knowing that she was there, you would not have enjoyed yourself if you let her stay. And then, original poster said, God knows her intentions, but everyone seems to think she was doing nothing wrong and was harmless. And then people were like bashing the wife, but I'm like, ugh, which I won't read those because
rude.
Yeah, no context. Okay, the last comment I'll read is definitely not the asshole. I don't understand why anyone would say that was wrong of you to do. Clearly, your ex broke the restraining order. And that is true because if you're a +1 to someone's wedding, you probably ask, okay, whose wedding is this? What are their names? She knew. Yeah.
Women are also detectives.
Oh,
we don't just show up. They were like, what's the dress code? Show me the invitation.
Mm-hmm.
People don't go blind into these things unless you're like extremely type B, which rare.
Rare. Agreed. It says, clearly your ex broke the restraining order. Good on you for calling the police. Who knows what she could have done? It's completely unfair for you or your wife or whoever was at your wedding to be acting this way. If they knew you had a restraining order and what she did to you, and it seems like your wife did, then it doesn't make any sense for her to be acting this way. Perhaps you should talk to her. Congrats on the wedding, though. Agreed. Congrats on the wedding. And they said, I hope you were able to enjoy the day apart from what happened with your ex. Which I do, like, that sucks. To have your wedding tainted by this.
It's just weddings are just, everything is so heightened because for the people who are spending the money and flying their family in, the stakes feel so high.
Yes.
So anything feels like the biggest deal.
Absolutely.
In the world.
Yeah.
I can understand the wife's perspective, but I don't think the husband, it was a lose-lose for him.
It was.
It really was because I feel like the bride would have been like, you didn't do anything. You let your stalker be there. But it was just such an unfortunate situation. She couldn't control the wife that it's like, it just sucks.
It just sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think even if the police hadn't been called, the ex was going to make a scene. Like she was yelling that we should be together. It should be her and I, you and I. Like she was prompted at that point being arrested, but she would have done that at some point in the wedding.
Yeah.
I believe.
Totally. And what's so interesting is like, there are way more male stalkers. Way more. No question. But female stalkers, when they lock in, they're terrifying.
Yes.
Terrifying. So I can only imagine.
Yeah. I do have some stats later in the episode about stalkers, but this story kind of reminded me of, or all these stories that I'm going to share remind me of that podcast, Love Trapped. Have you listened to that one?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Intense. Highly recommend if you haven't.
Amazing, amazing podcast.
Yeah. Okay, so now we have an update.
Okay.
And this answers a lot of questions. So the original poster wrote, I got a lot of requests for an update on my original post. So here it is. It's been a very long day since I first posted, and I've spoken to both my wife and Chris. Starting with my wife, we had a very long, tearful conversation about everything from my ex to the wedding. I apologized for the fact that I didn't consider involving her before calling the police, which meant that my ex's outburst while being escorted out came as a complete surprise to her. She apologized for the way she reacted and explained that she wasn't angry at me, but angry with my ex, and the fact that the wedding was ruined and that the focus was shifted away from us and to my ex. She says that her anger was misdirected. Another reason for the anger is that a lot of guests had no idea who my ex was, so my ex's comment of "we're meant to be together" led people to theorize that I had been cheating on my wife with my ex. So now we're out having to put fires out before rumors begin to spread. My wife is now very much focused on making sure I'm okay after all of this, although she is distraught about our special day being ruined, but we'll work through that together. On to Chris. And here is where things get a little scary.
Ooh.
So my wife and I called him together, firstly to check that he's okay. He is. Secondly, we wanted to see how the hell my ex managed to worm her way into his life in order to get to my wedding. According to Chris, they connected over social media. She started liking his posts over the course of about a month and then slid into his DMs, and they started chatting from there. The crazy part is that to Chris, my ex has a completely different name. But her posts on her profile dated back 3 years, meaning she's had this profile with a fake name for at least 3 years, and it's not the only one, which also means that the original poster and his wife never would have known that the ex was coming because in the RSVP,
different name.
It's a different name.
Oh my gosh.
Chris told us that a few other guys contacted him after the wedding saying that they recognized her because they also received DMs from her on different accounts, all with different names.
In this friend group, trying to kind of get closer to this groom?
Specifically.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's so much forethought here.
Commitment too.
There are at least 3 other accounts that we are currently aware of. Apparently, my ex showed no signs of being obsessed with me or even that she knew who I was. He invited her to my wedding as a +1, thinking they might eventually get serious as they were having a really good time together. Chris has since apologized profusely, but we made it clear that we do not blame him for this. There's been no word currently on what's going on with my ex, but considering her breaching the restraining order and resisting arrest, we assume maybe she'll end up in prison. My wife and I have spoken about it, and if we are contacted by the police, we will absolutely press charges, and my wife is planning to also get a restraining order. For now, we're going to go try and enjoy our honeymoon and deal with the rest of this mess when we get back. Thank you, Reddit, for all the advice and opinions. You gave a lot of perspectives on a situation, things that I hadn't considered.
Oh my God. I mean, as someone who's had a wedding, it's just like I could imagine being really distraught about something like that happening. But what's even scarier is just like someone being so locked in, not realizing what they're about to do.
Yeah.
And how delusional it is that you're still pursuing this.
And the amount of work to like slowly like weasel your way into getting an invite to this wedding by targeting all of the friends and just seeing who's going to be the one.
Yeah, whoever she can con into being invited.
It's so scary.
Yeah, and it's hurtful. And like now Chris is a victim too, being used to sort of as a, vessel to destroy this friend's wedding is really a bummer.
It's so sad.
Yeah, and creepy.
Have you ever had a stalker?
Not like a committed one.
Okay.
I've definitely had a couple internet.
I like the categorizing of stalkers.
Yeah, because like it's definitely like blew over.
Okay.
But that's not, it can get really bad.
Well, also with social media nowadays, I feel like there's so many different levels of stalking.
Yeah.
But it's so easy, especially you and I, we have like digital footprints and we have public professions. And you also dabble a lot in the true crime space and like with really dangerous people.
Yeah, mean.
That it's scary to think that someone can find you based on your posts or whatever you're posting online.
Yeah, I'm really careful about that actually. And I usually don't post anything in the moment, like especially if I'm at a certain place. Have you had a stalker?
Yes, but it was mostly a lot of like calls and heavy breathing.
That's horrifying.
It was disturbing. Yeah. It happened for a period of like maybe a year. I still have no idea who it was. I have a theory.
Someone who you know.
Because I think it's like 78%. I might
usually is
in the 70% of people your stalkers. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was when I was in college, I like went and spent one day and did like background work for a movie. And I befriended a bunch of people who were doing extra work. And I think it was someone I met there. Because then one of the calls, one of the first calls, when I answered, and this is back in the day where like you would answer unknown numbers. Now I just like send them all to voicemail, right?
Yeah.
But this was probably like 10 years ago at this point. And they said, "Is this Sabrina from like the one who like we met on set or something like that?" And then the heavy breathing started. And then I hung up, obviously, because that's unsettling.
Yeah.
And then, occasionally I would get that same call and they would just sit there heavy breathing, which I feel like,
ew,
you know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, and like digital stalking's really unnerving and really dangerous because obviously like our whole networks are connected to us on the internet. So I've heard stories about stalkers where it's like they're contacting your mom. And the stalking is so bad that they're isolating you from like your support system.
So scary.
Yeah, it can be really, really damaging to your livelihood. And thank God I haven't experienced anything to that degree.
What was your light level stalking?
So I lived in Hollywood.
Yeah.
And it was a really high foot traffic area. And someone was leaving stuff on my doorstep. And it started with like a corsage, like what you get at prom. And then it was really weird. And someone was leaving like romantic things
That's scary
on my
because
doorstep.
it's at your home.
I know. And I went to the gym. There was a Gold's Gym right across the street, and I worked out there almost every day because it was like, you could see it from my front door.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, it must be someone who knows I live here. It didn't feel like dangerous, but it was weird because it was my house.
Yeah. Like they know where you live.
Yeah. But it didn't last that long.
That's good. They found someone else.
Yeah, they found someone else.
Which is like not,
it blew over.
I'm sad for whoever else they found, but yeah no. And I mean, I'm no psychologist, but I feel like the psychological profile of someone who gets this obsessed is really like complicated.
It's very complicated. And I personally am of the mind, I don't think there's a cure for it. You know, there are all these really horrible stories where like men lock in on their exes and 10 years later, you know, I don't know if you heard the story, the Tepe case.
No.
Where literally this husband and wife, and, you know, they were murdered in their home. And it turns out, and, you know, they were young, they were, you know, under 40. It turns out it's the ex-husband of the woman who they haven't had contact in years. They divorced amicably. And the ex-husband's a surgeon, like a doctor. And he did this sort of out of the blue just because he just wasn't over it and murdered both of them. And it's a case that's unfolding.
Later.
It's unfolding right now. The trial hasn't happened yet. Yeah. Some people just hold that grudge, like Gone Girl level.
Yeah. And like, especially that many years later, you wouldn't expect a pivot like that or,
you just think I have too much to lose. As, you know, the guy's a doctor. It's crazy.
Oh my gosh. All right. Well, okay. Now that you have that context, do you think that the original poster is the asshole or no?
He's not the asshole. Yeah. He was in a lose-lose situation.
Yeah, totally. I also do feel bad that they're like using the narrative of the wedding was ruined.
It wasn't.
Because it wasn't.
No. She just embarrassed herself. Yeah. That should be the narrative.
And it's not their fault.
No.
Yeah.
And this is nothing about them for, you know, neither of them did anything to ruin the wedding.
No.
Yeah.
And I do think, I mean, I don't know the timeline of the wedding, but if they were able to get her escorted out earlier, on the earlier side of the wedding, I hope that like they got to enjoy themselves after.
Honestly, no one shoved anyone's face in a cake. No one fell into water. Like I've seen horror.
Or what's that show that was on Hulu? Tell Me Lies.
Yes.
The very last episode.
The last scene in the last episode where people are admitting to a
Yeah. At least it wasn't that.
Right.
Yeah. It could be worse.
Does anyone else feel like August is the Sunday of summer, or is it just me? I mean, it's the perfect time to hit reset on everything. Quince specializes in effortless, high-quality essentials, ultra-soft organic cotton, and premium Mongolian cashmere sweaters, which I have several of, and they transition into seasons perfectly. Everything at Quince is priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands. It's because they work directly with ethical factories and cut out the middlemen, so you're paying for quality, not brand markup. I have luxury Quince items in every single room of my house. I'm talking my soft, luxurious bath towels, an amazing outdoor ottoman on my patio, my carry-on travel bag too. The clothes are a given. I have washable silk pieces in every color imaginable, tons of sweaters on rotation, and incredible denim too. Upgrade your everyday. Download the Quince app for app-exclusive offers or go to quince.com/crimesof and get free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. Now available in Canada and the UK too. That's Quince, QUINCE.com/crimesof.
Okay, should we do the second story? Are you ready?
Yes, dying to hear it.
Second story. This is called I Think Someone Is Playing With Me. And I really like this one because it presents as potentially something maybe paranormal, which obviously I love. But then once we get to the update, it's unhinged.
Oh my God, I can't wait.
And then this was translated from Danish, but the subreddit roughly translates to advice column. This is going to sound a little crazy, but I need some advice anyway. I just want to start by saying that I've never had any problems with paranoia, delusions, or psychosis, and I don't believe in ghosts or anything like that. I'm also 35 years old now, so I don't think it's likely that those types of mental health issues would arise at such a late age, which in the comments, people were like, it can come on at any time.
Yeah.
That being said, I do feel like I'm going crazy. I am pretty sure someone is moving small things in my apartment when I am not home. I live alone, and no one, as far as I know, has a key to my apartment. I have 2 keys and both are in my possession. I have checked several times. I have tried putting glasses and plates on the table as a test before I go to work. I've taken pictures of them to compare with pictures when I get home. And so far, I have not been successful in proving anything. The most obvious things that I've noticed that have moved are a plate that I had breakfast on one day, and it moved maybe 30 centimeters from where I put it. Candles have moved from the center of the coffee table to the edge of the table, and a shampoo bottle has moved from one shelf to another that I never used to put shampoo on. So that one is like, because the other ones is like, okay, maybe there's like
their foundation is
a
going
mini
to hell.
earthquake. Yeah. But the shampoo switching shelves, that can't just happen accidentally. There are several other things that I have noticed, but there are very small things that I'm like, maybe or maybe not, it was me. But I'm also very aware of where everything is. My ex-boyfriend had the key to my apartment for many years before we broke up, but we broke up 2 years ago. We didn't fall out. He has a new girlfriend now, and I'm 99% sure it's not him. He also works in Copenhagen several days a week, and I live in Jutland. I've asked him on days where things have moved where he was, and he's in Copenhagen on those days. He even shared his location on Messenger to prove where he was, and that feels enough for me. What would you do? I have no evidence of anything, and in principle, I could have been sleepwalking or something and just noticed the changes when I got back home from work, because I did occasionally sleepwalk as a child. But as far as I know, it hasn't happened in maybe 25 years, and it's starting to get pretty creepy.
Okay. Well, what should they do is get some cameras, first of all. I mean, that seems like the obvious thing.
Yep.
But as far as what has retroactively already occurred, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So the thing's moving a little bit here, a little bit there. There are a lot of possible explanations for that.
So many reasons, yeah.
As for the shampoo bottle ending up on the different shelf, I mean, I'm the kind of person where I can be in my kitchen. I'm like, did I take my medication? Or did I take,
Yeah.
I truly have no idea.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's like I get in a mode or I
Yeah.
answer the phone and I'm doing something while I'm on the phone and I have no idea what I've moved or done.
Right.
So I don't know if there's something like that going on.
Yeah, like you just get distracted and put it back in the wrong place.
I just think it's like we live in a stimulating world with like phones going off and alerts and things pulling our attention. I think it's totally possible that she moved it and doesn't recall.
It was unclear. We didn't get but I do have a really big fear of, and I don't even live in a house, but these stories where it's like someone's living in the walls of your house. Yes. Is that what they're called? Froggers?
I think they're called froggers.
Yeah.
Or frogs.
Like I'm terrified of that. So that's where my mind jumps to immediately. And clearly it's enough where this original poster is taking to Reddit. Like they've gotten to a point where it's probably happening for a prolonged period of time where they're like, I feel like something is happening.
Did you see the documentary Voyeur?
No.
Where the guy was like living and documenting, but you'll have to watch it. But I don't know. As someone who's lived in apartments all over LA, I've had things disappear.
Okay.
That there's that I did not lose.
Okay.
That disappeared. The thing is, if you are renting a place, the landlord has keys.
True.
Contractors are given keys.
Yeah.
These things happen.
Yeah.
Where people are like, okay, they know you're at work because they're working at this other apartment, or they have cameras just for the building. Like, people do weird entitled stuff.
It's very true.
Especially people who own the building, even though the law is that like that's your apartment.
They have to like give you 24 hours.
But people don't care. And there's just, I know from my experience, things disappeared. Things were taken from my apartment.
That's so weird.
But not in a burglary.
What was going missing?
I've had purses go missing. But it's not like a burglary. Like it's not like someone broke in. But I don't notice till way later. So I don't know when it happened.
Well, someone could have broken in.
No, but like not in an obvious way. I guess like really good thieves know not to make it obvious so people don't notice till right away.
Yeah.
Till way later, I mean.
Yeah.
So it's possible, but like someone could be messing with him. Someone could be messing with them. Someone could have showered in their place. Like I've heard stories.
Which is I've
heard stories like that too.
Also, the idea of someone having a key, which is true. Like if you rent, multiple people have keys. Like you could do whatever you want, but like someone could hypothetically sneak in and take a picture of you sleeping. Yeah. At any point.
Yeah.
Okay, so here are some comments. There's a well-known Reddit thread that sounds very similar to what you describe. It turned out that person had severe carbon monoxide poisoning that created paranoia and delusions. So I would strongly advise you to see if you can find somewhere else to sleep for the next few nights and then buy a detector. The original poster said, "Thanks, I Googled it. I'm staying with my parents tonight, and then I'm going to buy a carbon monoxide detector tomorrow just in case," because that is true. Could be something that's happening. Another commenter wrote, "I don't know what it is, but I would like to add a comment to, it's too late to have these kinds of mental problems. As a nurse in psychiatry, I meet patients of all ages who come in with similar experiences. It happens that we have people in their 60s admitted who suddenly have psychotic symptoms for the first time," which I agree. Like, that can come on at any point in life, and it can be triggered.
Yeah. Medication, traumatic events, depression.
Yeah. And the original poster did respond saying, "I've been very stressed and haven't slept well, which is why I thought maybe I was sleepwalking again after so many years."
Have you ever sleptwalked before?
No, it's so scary. Have you?
Mm-hmm.
What have you done?
I had a lot of sleep. I continue to have a lot of sleep-related problems.
Oh, I thought you were going to say you still sleepwalk.
No, I don't sleepwalk, but like my parents told me, and it's really scary. My parents told me that what I used to do is that they would wake up to me screaming bloody murder, and I was under their bed. So
Alexis.
I would go into their room as I was like 6, 7. I was young, but I would find my way under their bed and then just blood curdling screaming, and they would. Maybe that's why their marriage didn't last. I don't know.
You're the problem.
Yeah, but my gosh. I can't even believe that. But I'm not surprised. I mean, I've had sleep issues as long as I can remember. I don't sleepwalk anymore, but now I just don't sleep, and that's probably why.
Screaming.
I know.
Under their bed.
A little girl, a scary girl. It's like a horror movie.
What would you say, like, when you would wake up from
I don't know.
You don't know. You don't remember.
No. Isn't that crazy?
That's horrifying. Do you have siblings?
I have 2.
Do they sleepwalk?
No. My one sister, I have 2 younger sisters. My first younger sister sleeps like a rock. She could sleep anywhere.
Yeah.
She could sleep on the floor right now in this room.
I feel like I'm closer to that.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm jealous.
It depends on my stress levels.
Yeah. No, my other sisters have no problems. Just me.
Just you.
Lucky me.
Lucky you.
Yeah.
Lucky your parents.
Yes.
Waking up to their child screaming
Insane.
Under the bed. Oh my gosh. It's like that scene in AI when the AI child cuts the hair.
Yeah.
Yeah. Terrifying. Children are scary.
Yep.
Okay, then someone else was commenting, basically saying that they live in a place that shakes 24/7, like feels like a constant earthquake. I guess there was like construction and stuff. So the original poster was like, there are a number of apartments being built nearby with associated noise, so it's not entirely impossible.
I'll say that we renovated our condo, and our neighbor told us that like a mirror fell off her wall. Like
during the renovations.
Yeah, but not during, like things were just slowly shifting. And like one day they were working, but like it was on a different wall in her place.
Interesting.
But the only explanation was the work we were doing.
Yeah.
The slow shifts.
Yeah.
So that makes sense.
Are you ready for the update?
Yes.
It's crazy. Okay. Hi again, everyone. A lot has happened since I wrote the post. I've figured out what's up with this situation. I bought 2 cameras, so took your advice.
Smart.
Yeah. And set one up in the living room/kitchen and then one in the entrance hall. It turns out my apartment actually has 3 keys, not 2 as I thought. My neighbor, also 35 years old, apparently looked after the previous tenant's cat occasionally and had a key to their apartment. She didn't return the key after they moved out of what is now my apartment. This girl and I were pretty good friends to start with when I moved in, but she became more and more clingy to the extent that she would call up to 15 times a day and talk for over 4 hours in total per day. I couldn't even leave the apartment without her wanting to know where I was going, and she would get angry if I didn't respond immediately to her messages, even if I was asleep. There was so much drama surrounding her that I couldn't take it anymore and chose to completely cut off contact, and I thought she had respected that. Turns out that she has let herself into my apartment, gone through my cupboards and drawers, and apparently deliberately was moving things around to make me paranoid. She can hear when I go in and out of my apartment because her entrance is only 5 meters from mine, and that is why she always knew when I wasn't home, even though I work shifting hours. I confronted her and said that I would call the police, and she panicked and contacted her father, who came over to my apartment. He's a doctor and said that she has borderline personality disorder and refuses treatment because she doesn't think she's wrong. He said she's impulsive, outwardly reacting, and often feels a strong urge to revenge herself on people who she feels have treated her unfairly or let her down, which is a terrifying thing to be told. This has apparently been a theme throughout her life with almost all of her relationships, romantic and friendships. And her dad practically begged me not to call the police and said that he would do everything he can to prevent anything similar from happening again. I got him to pay for a locksmith to change the lock, and I said that I would report her to the housing association, who would then report her to the police if she didn't voluntarily move out of the apartment as soon as possible because I didn't want her as a neighbor anymore. They both accepted that, and she has now chosen to move back to her parents at the end of February. So the ending was relatively good for me, albeit very chaotic.
People like that woman who was breaking in are not safe people. I don't think they can be helped. The level of entitlement, how brazen and bold it is, like going into someone's home is so violating.
So violating.
But this is exactly the kind of thing that I always suspected when things would disappear.
Yeah.
Was happening.
Like, did you think it was a landlord or a previous tenant?
No, I think with my last place, there were several people who had switched units.
Oh.
There was 12 units and one woman had 2 for an Airbnb.
Mm-hmm.
It was just a very communal. One person was showing units for the landlord. I just sensed it was something like that and I just could never prove it, but I moved out. But these things happen all the time.
Which is so scary.
But these people are everywhere. That kind of entitlement is everywhere.
I want to believe it's something that could get helped.
No.
I have been in unhealthy relationships where the codependency is it's unhealthy, right? And you take, there was one relationship where I was I just need 2 months of space. And within a week, they showed up at my door, flew across country, showed up at my door. And I thought it was romantic. But it could turn into a situation where it's unsafe. And I like to think that, I don't know, people could work through their own traumas to not have that behavior.
I don't know. I think there are some situations that demand more nuance, the age of the person, maturity. But I think if you're an adult, if you're cooked, a baked individual and you're doing this, I don't think so.
So scary.
If you're still in college and you're obsessed with your boy, I think maybe if you're not dangerous, you're just a little immature, fine.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I think at the crux of it is a deep internal insecurity.
100%.
And you become obsessed with someone else because you can't deal with your own stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also scared because I have re-entered the dating world again, and it is scary putting myself out there and meeting people. I text all my friends and I'm this is who I'm going on a date with. This is where I'm going to be. Everyone has all my girlfriends have my location. They know where I am. But I could meet someone and have one date and it's fine, but I just decide to not continue it. I don't know that they're not going to follow me home or turn into one of these, or they already are one of these people.
Mm-hmm.
It's scary.
That's every interaction though. It
That's
could be
true.
a colleague, it could be a friend, it could be
someone who sees you at the gym.
It could be someone. It could be a family member. A lot of stalking is your own family.
See, this is why I love and hate Reddit. It's it's telling us things that we already know about the world, but then it makes me scared of and true crime in general too.
Yeah,
it's this fine line of wanting to immerse yourself and know more about it to be aware and also protect yourself in a way, but the reality is that you can't.
You can't. And the scariest thing is statistically, all crime, all stalking, it's way more likely to occur. You're most vulnerable to those closest to you.
Okay, so this next story, or the last story that I have, is maybe the scariest one of the episode.
Okay, I'm ready.
So this is called, Has Anyone Had Success with Private Investigators? For the past 6 months, I have been relentlessly stalked and had threats against my life made from someone I dated for a month. It started with phone calls upwards of 45 to 50 a day, 50-page text messages, and him showing up outside of my house at 5 a.m. When I wouldn't comply or feed the negative attention, I began to receive threats, claims that he would murder me and get away with it. All he would have to do is flee the country. He would tell me that he shouldn't have to force me to be his friend and that I had to give him another chance or else. Every time I blocked his number from contacting me, he would then call me from different ones. He would try to pretend to be other people or have his friends or sometimes even random strangers he'd ask on the street to contact me. I once scared an unsuspecting guy half to death after informing him that the person who had told him to call me was actually stalking me, and I sent him proof. He ended up calling the police on my stalker, but my stalker fled, of course. After about 2 months of this, I was evicted from my apartment building due to my neighbors no longer feeling safe because of his looming presence. I then applied for and was granted a temporary protection order. This is like what you were talking about, how like it's isolating you from everything in life. A few days afterwards, I received a picture of the message of the note that the civil sheriff had left on the door of my stalker's then residence with a message taunting me. What you're trying to do is stupid. A restraining order is just a piece of paper. So ultimately, he just ended up avoiding the process server. And as simple as that, I was not being protected at all. Which is, I think, the scariest thing about stalking and also like domestic violence in general is you can get a restraining order, but it is a piece of paper.
Yeah. Usually by the time someone is that committed to hurting you, they don't really care if they get in trouble.
Yeah.
So it's like the piece of paper only helps if they're worried, if they have something to lose.
Yeah. And I feel like in so many situations when you do get like the judicial system involved and you're like, this person, I'm scared of for my life about this person, the answer is that they can't really do anything unless they make an attempt.
Or they're like, prove it.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, I can't yet because I'm not dead or hurt.
Yeah, you want to wait for me to die, and then that's the proof. Yeah. Okay, so May 31st of this year, I relocated. This did not deter my stalker. He vowed to find me wherever I moved to and threatened that if he couldn't find me, he would find my family, and then he would proceed to send me a map of my mother's home, who he had never met. I received messages from a woman claiming to be my former landlord, letting me know that I owed a balance on my account to avoid late fees, and I needed to pay it, which I could do with the link provided in the messages. Turns out it was my stalker pretending to be a woman, and the link turned out to be a tool used to grab the user's IP address when they clicked the link. Upon this discovery, I changed my phone number and began to systematically dismantle my trace of an online presence that I ever had. This action only seemed to anger him more, and before deleting the profiles outright, I would attempt to block him from contacting me. Each and every time I blocked one, he simply created a new one and proceeded to contact me as if nothing happened. 12 different Reddit accounts, 9 different Tumblrs, 10 different Instagrams, 3 Meetup accounts, 4 Facebooks, with which he changed his location of that to my hometown and proceeded to add nearly everyone from my graduating class in high school, and even 3 Duolingo accounts and MySpace. I then received an empty package from him addressed to my former residence with the declaration, address correction requested, do not forward, which I'm assuming he thought that the post office would adhere to his requests, return the package to him with my new corrected address on it. Mid-July, he created a profile using my photos and likeness to threaten my family. And when I didn't respond, he proceeded to post semi-nude pictures of me on the profile in an attempt to blackmail me into speaking with him. I did not. I contacted Twitter to remove the account, and eventually they did. On August 21st, I woke up around 8 p.m. to vigorous knocking and ringing of my doorbell. I looked out my window to see who it was, and I was horrified to see my stalker there. I called the police, and of course, he had fled again. There were over 7 separate police reports filed, and this incident was followed by threatening emails from my stalker demanding that I meet him somewhere, or because he had found me, that next time I would wake up to gunshots. This past Sunday night, I woke up at 6:45 a.m. to ringing and banging again. I proceeded to record him on video while I was on phone with the police. He fled on foot once again, and I was hit with the same hoopla from law enforcement. Well, we can't really do much because technically at this point, he's not doing anything wrong. But my question is, he keeps fleeing, so clearly he knows he's doing something wrong. I obtained a temporary protection order again, but I have no solid address for this dangerous person, which is why I'm in dire need of a private investigator to assist with finding said residence so he can be served. I hope you might be able to refer me to someone who might be able to assist me. I've developed insomnia, depression, anxiety, and paranoia. I'm completely isolated. I'm 22 years old. I have no social life anymore. I have 0 friends, and I've become a shell of my former self. I've faced eviction. I've lost a job because of this man's behavior, and I don't know how much longer I can survive. There's actually so much more that he has done to terrorize me, but for the sake of this already lengthy post, I tried to condense it. I have proof in the form of recordings, event diaries, and copies of all his threats, interactions, and attempts to communicate, and would be more than willing to show them and to show that I'm not lying. I'm also in Las Vegas if that helps at all.
I mean, I've heard of stories like this, and these people are terrorists. You know, it's like you might as well, it's life ruining.
I think this is where I started looking up statistics, and I'll read them in a second, but I think the most bewildering part of all these stories and just stalkers in general is I do feel helpless. Like, what can you do if you're in this situation?
Nothing, you know, hope they break the law enough to go to jail for long enough, but then they get out, you know? And I have acquaintances who deal with stalkers who've been sent to jail and then they come out and it just starts again. They don't care. And there's no logic there because to what end?
Right.
This person's afraid of you.
Yeah.
They're never going to be with you.
Right.
You're making it worse.
Yeah.
And it's like, so there's really no logic behind it. It's just an obsession.
It's obsession.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is the scariest part.
Yeah. And the really scary part is like, you're ruining this person's ability to have a job,
to live somewhere safely,
to have healthy relationships with their family. Like people distance themselves, won't be friends with you on social media because then the stalker can find them and start sending emails to their work and their bosses. Like that's usually what they do.
Yeah.
Because a stalker wants to make everyone mad at you. So you have no one else.
Scary.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll give the stats and then we have an update on this.
Okay.
An estimated 13.5 million people are stalked in the US each year. About 1 in 3 women and 1 in 6 men experience stalking at some point in their lifetimes, which is very similar to rates of domestic violence in general. Research shows that stalking increases the risk of intimate partner homicide by 3 times. Survivors need support and resources to respond to these dangerous behaviors before they escalate. But I feel like the support and resources, they're limited.
They're limited. They vary between states.
Yeah.
So there isn't like recourse that can be ubiquitously like researched by people. Like every state, every department, certain jurisdictions have just limited knowledge about digital stalking.
Yes.
Sometimes like police departments, state police jurisdictions won't do anything and they'll refer you to like, oh, that's federal. That's wire fraud. There's nothing they can do.
Yeah.
A lot of them, which is just so helpless for the person being targeted.
Okay, well, this is the update that like I feel like when it comes to stalker, you dread.
Oh no.
Update. I shot my stalker tonight. I'm writing this staring at the mess the police left for me. I'm in a bit of fog. After 6 months of stalking and threats against my life, my stalker finally snapped, decided to kick my door in and make good on his promise. Out of fear, the past month I had begun sleeping with a chair propped against my front door to give myself a few extra precious seconds in case of emergency. I shudder to think how differently things would have turned out had I not barricaded the door. So I woke up around 1:15 a.m. to the sound of the door giving way after one kick followed by the sounds of my stalker struggling to dislodge the chair while forcing his way inside. I jumped up and I grabbed the gun because as of recent, I've done everything with it, even showered with it. That's how scared I've been. I stood at the top of my stairs and I fired twice, hitting him in the chest. I heard his scream, his disbelief that I stood up for myself, 0 to 100 in milliseconds. I have never been so afraid in my life, and I don't know if he's living, but I do know the police have him, and that's what helps the most. For months, he evaded the police, and I began to question whether he was unstoppable. Untraceable, Houdini who would murder me and get away with it, and as of now, I'm in a haze of guilt, surprise, relief, and disbelief. I survived where so many people do not. Holy shit, I survived. And then they edited, the outpouring of support is wild. I can't thank you guys enough. Everyone can be a critic, and the fact still remains, you don't know what you would do in a situation until it's presented in front of you. Those who believe there are other things to have been done have never had someone tell you that you no longer deserve to draw a breath and mean it. And for the you should have fired a warning shot, folks, there are no warning shots. He kicked my door in. There was no longer a deterrent preventing harm. Warning shots are dangerous and could have hurt someone unintended. This is not a Wild West movie. That's what responsible gun ownership is. I'll update once things have calmed down a bit. I promise. I'll write back to everyone. And after being isolated for so long, anyone who wants to be friends, I'm always accepting those. And they posted a picture of the door being kicked in, oh
my God.
Yeah. I mean, so scary. And there was a news article that we found about this story. It says, a man was shot in the chest early Friday morning after trying to break into the home of a former girlfriend, according to police. Lieutenant Eric Lloyd with Las Vegas Metro Police said the shooting happened near the area of South Durango Drive and Tropicana Avenue about 1 a.m., citing the woman living at an apartment complex. Lloyd said she called officers regarding a former boyfriend kicking in her door. Police said the woman fired 2 shots at the man once he made entry into the unit, hitting him once in the chest. The man fled from the scene, tried to hide in the area, but a K-9 unit was able to locate him behind bushes. So he still fled.
Adrenaline.
Yeah. Police on Friday afternoon confirmed that the suspect is 22-year-old and the name was redacted. The victim, in contact with Fox, does not wish to be identified and said her past relationship with the redacted name wouldn't qualify as romantic. The victim sent a series of screenshots, she said, detailed numerous texts and online messages from Jackson. She wrote in a blog that a stalker forced her to move, obtain a restraining order, and require a license to carry a concealed weapon. The victim told Fox that she'd been sleeping with a chair in front of her door to keep her stalker out. And then 6 years later, we have an update. A Nevada man has been sentenced to 15 years in prison after pleading guilty to stalking a female acquaintance while on parole for a similar crime that has happened in Las Vegas. So this just proves there's something wrong with this man. He did it again. The sentence for the 28-year-old, name was redacted on Friday, was arrested in Arizona in January and pleaded guilty to the aggravated stalking charge in July. According to prosecutors, an investigation by the Sparks Police Department determined Jackson had sent numerous threatening text messages to a woman over several months in 2019. The texts included threats against the woman's dog, her property. He also called the woman's family and friends in an effort to get more information about her. At the time of the threats, Redacted was on parole for stalking a former girlfriend in Las Vegas. The woman ended up shooting him at her home. According to the district attorney's office, prosecutor Redacted sought a maximum sentence because of the terrifying nature of Redacted's conduct, which came after only a month on parole for the previous crime.
I mean, I have a lot of thoughts.
Let's hear them.
First of all, that's exactly what guns are for.
Yeah.
Like, that is a proper use of a gun.
100%.
It's like law enforcement's not helping you because the law, not because they don't want to, but because the laws are what they are.
Yeah.
And until they have just enough to be able to charge the perpetrator, like, she defended her life.
To be so scared that you are, one, like, you have to obtain a gun and then shower with it, sleep with a chair under your door. That's horrifying.
Yeah, it's disgusting that she had to do that. And then now she's traumatized.
For so many,
I mean, it's all horrible.
It's all horrible.
It's horrible. And it's like, you know, and then I think about the person he stalked next, like, threaten my dog. I dare you.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
it's horrible.
Because think about the mental torment. It's like sometimes we have to leave our dogs.
Yeah.
Our dogs need to go out. Our dogs need to be left at home alone.
Mm-hmm.
I would change my life around a threat like that.
Yeah.
Because it's just disgusting.
Well, this is also just like the worst. I mean, the worst case scenario is that he came in and he killed her, right? Like, but the escalation here is the worst case scenario of a stalking situation, that they follow through with their threats, that they're so obsessed with you that if you refuse to be with them, they are going to kill you.
And we don't know which ones will and won't. Like,
that's you don't know.
Yeah. But a lot do. Like, if you're that kind of obsessed stalker, a lot are not willing to stop.
I hope that no one has ever been stalked, and I hope that no one stalks anyone, because
ever again.
Maybe not. Let's just focus on our own mental health if that's what you're trying to do.
Yes.
But if you have been stalked, I would love to hear people's stories. So we want to invite you to share your stories on our subreddit. It is Crimes of Pod, and we will put it in the show notes so you can find it.
Yes. Tell us everything.
Tell us all of your secrets, all of your stories. And then, if you have any other Reddit stories that you want us to cover on the show, you can also share them with us in the comments or link them in Reddit posts that you put on our subreddit, because we have a lot that we want to dive deep into on Reddit.
Stalking is such a terroristic crime that it makes me sad that these people had to turn to Reddit because resources are so scant when it comes to crimes like this.
When I was trying to transition to be like, I want to hear your stories, it's like bleak because there's I wish I had an answer and I don't, and like we don't have answers. I mean, crimes are, people shouldn't commit crimes. Well, and I wish I could wave my magic wand and that be the answer.
But stalking specifically, it's like there's something so disorienting about it. Because once you know you're being stalked, even when you're not, everything feels intentional. Everything feels scary. So
yeah, and the paranoia that you create in your own mind is just as bad as like the chaos they're creating in your life.
It like really distorts your reality and it's traumatic.
Yeah. And no one stalk us.
Yeah, please don't.
I think that's a good rule of thumb here.
Totally.
At Crime Subreddit.
Yes. Here at Crime House, we want to thank each and every one of you for your support. So if you like what you've heard today, reach out on social media at Crime House. And don't forget to rate, review, and follow Crimes of Reddit wherever you get your podcasts. And your feedback absolutely makes a difference. Sabrina and I will be back next week to pull at more Reddit threads. And next time, I'll be reading the story.
I'm so excited.
I know, me too.
I can't wait for more stories. We'll see you next week.
Subscribe now and go down the rabbit hole with us.
New episodes are every Tuesday.
Listen and follow now wherever you get your podcasts.